I'm Charlie Pryde.
And I'm Jennifer Pryde. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Pride of the Villages.
So on this video, we're going to show you some ideas on how to use your sailor's loot and your bar tab on a Virgin Voyage. We will start with some background so you have a better understanding of why we did this video, and hopefully if you were in a similar situation, you'll find it informative. On our first cruise with Virgin Voyages, and our first video on this new cruise line, we traveled the Dominican days, 5-night itinerary on the Scarlet Lady. During that voyage, the passengers were informed of an epic offer on a future cruise. This epic offer was well advertised around the ship, and we received a letter in our stateroom as well. Basically, if we paid a $300 deposit, then we would get $300 off our next cruise, plus $600 of onboard credit, or what Virgin Voyages refers to as sailor's loot. You were allowed to buy up to 4 of these promotions, but they had to be utilized within 24 months, and you had to book a sea terrace cabin or higher. We decided to purchase 2 of the promotions, as we knew we could easily fit 2 cruises within the next 2 years. Another good thing about the promotion is that it could be combined with any other discounts or promotions offered on the future cruise. The first cruise we booked in July of 2023 was a 7-night Lesser Antilles Southern Caribbean cruise, sailing round trip from San Juan on the Brilliant Lady. The Brilliant Lady was to be the 4th Virgin Voyages ship, scheduled to be launched in December of 2023. Our sailing was for the 13th of April, 2024, and it included additional discounts on the fare, plus an included $600 bar tab for the cabin. So a $3,190 fare plus taxes for a central sea terrace cabin was reduced to $2,550, and off of that came our $300 original deposit, which I think was a pretty good deal considering we were given a $600 bar tab and $600 of onboard sailor's loot. Then we were informed in September of 2023 that the launching of the Brilliant Lady would be delayed, and our original 2024 sailing was canceled. As compensation, Virgin offered 2 remedies. One option was to get a full 100% refund of any monies paid. Additionally, they offered to assist with any travel penalties for cancellations or rebookings, up to $500 a person. We had not made any travel arrangements yet, so this did not apply to us. The other option was to rebook the voyage, and they would add an additional $300 sailor loot. And if you rebooked by the 11th of October, they would add an additional $300 for a total of $600. This is the option we chose, as our schedule was very flexible, and we still wanted to do the Southern Caribbean itinerary. It did not matter to us whether it was on the newest ship, as all 4 of Virgin's ships have the same deck plans and restaurants as we highlighted in our previous video of the Scarlet Lady. We then received email confirmation that we were rebooked on the Valiant Lady for 7-night Sunsets of the Lesser Antilles cruise, starting the 20th of January 2024 in San Juan. This included the Central Sea Terrace cabin at the same price, and we were notified that we had a $600 bar tab and now $1,200 total in onboard credit. A good situation to be in if you have opportunities to spend the sailor loot wisely. In our case, neither Jennifer and I are big alcohol beverage drinkers, so a $600 bar tab would be hard to consume. Likewise, $1,200 in onboard credit could easily be spent on other cruise lines for things like specialty dining, Wi-Fi, exercise classes, and paying your gratuities to the crew. But on Virgin Voyages, all your restaurants that would be considered specialty dining are included. You just have to make reservations. All your gratuities are included, and I mean all. Included is free Wi-Fi. Included is your exercise classes, with some requiring reservations. All essential drinks like coffee, teas, sodas, and non-pressed juices are included. And of course, a wide range of free entertainment is provided. So now you know how we got into this predicament of excessive onboard credit, and now we will show you the different ways to spend that sailor's loot. Our first priority for spending sailor's loot was on shore excursions for the 4 ports of call on our itinerary. Bookings for Virgin Voyages sponsored shore excursions opens on the app 120 days before the sailing. And our dilemma is that sailor's loot does not become active until you actually board the ship. So a couple of the excursions that we had our eye on were sold out way in advance of the sailing. Now we could have booked these excursions prior to boarding, but payment on our credit card would have been required versus using sailor's loot. Consequently, once we got on board, we looked at what was available and immediately booked what appealed to us. In Aruba, we booked the Island Hughes on a sunset cruise, which was $100 each. This was an evening cruise on a really nice catamaran with adult beverages and some snacks provided. This topped off a great day on the island, as we had booked a separate UTV side-by-side tour for the morning that was not associated with Virgin Voyages. A full review of the Lesser Antilles itinerary with details on this and our other shore excursions in an upcoming video. In Curacao, it was Made in Curacao excursion at $70 each, which included a tour to a distillery to learn about the famous liqueur of the island's name, an aloe farm to discover the healthy attributes of the plant, and onto an artist venue to see Chi-Chi dolls being made. In Martinique, the tour was Art, Nature, and Spirits at $95 each and included a church visit, entrance to the Balata Gardens, and an active rum distillery with a tasting experience. In St. Kitts, it was Best of the Destination Circuit at $80 each. This tour was done by small vans versus tour buses and included a visit to Palm Court, Carabel Batik for wearable art, and the towering Brimstone Fortress. So after 10 minutes of being on board, the Valiant Lady, we had spent $680 on tour bookings. Jennifer then went shopping on the ship's high street on Deck 6, and they really encourage you to redeem that sailor loot here. Now you could easily spend $1,000 of sailor loot in one purchase on High Street. Thankfully, Jennifer is not into the designer wear. However, she did want some things from Virgin Voyages brand store. 2 shirts and a hat were $100. Now you can use your sailor's loot in squid ink to get a tattoo, and some people did. For us, we picked up a couple of gifts to include one of these tattooed stuffed animals and a t-shirt, $95 total. One of the interesting things you can purchase on High Street is the same hand-woven hanging chair hammock that you have on your balcony. We did not, but if you fall in love with them, you can take one home for $245. Another store that they encourage you to spend sailor's loot at is the booty-free, duty-free liquor shop, although you cannot take possession of the alcohol until the end of the voyage. Besides shopping, another favorite of Jennifer's is the spa. Now, massages average between $200 and $300, a 50-minute facial $260. So Jennifer suggested we both get a 3-hour pass to the thermal suite at $50 each during a port day. Sea day passes are $70. In a thermal spa, there's a steam room, a dry sauna, and a salt room.
We'll do the salt scrub one at the very end, okay?
There is also a room where you rub mud on yourself. I'm not really into that, but Jen likes it. What's this, Jen? Is this the mud room?
This is the mud room. You have this special mud to put on. We wait 5 minutes and then we rinse off. And it's supposed to do wonders for your skin.
Okay.
Probably
I need wonders for my skin. The hot and cold plunge pools were nice, as well as the hot marble benches. Now you can use your sailor's loot for gambling on board, and yes, bingo on Virgin Voyages is a form of gambling. There will be a couple of opportunities for bingo during the 7-day cruise. One session was run by the hostess and the other by the diva.
This is not your grandma's bingo, okay? We're gonna get the rules are rolling, but please pay attention. We're only gonna say these ones.
Each session was comprised of 4 games, and 3 sheets were sold for $30, 6 for $45, and 9 for $55. We opted for 9 sheets, with Jen managing 6 and I 3. It was a fun experience, as it was a combination of bingo games and great acts performed by the hosting team.
We have 65.
We did not win at bingo, but some passengers won up to $2,000. So 2 sessions of bingo was a minus $110 in loot. For our last $110 left of onboard credit, Jennifer let me give it a roll in the casino. You can spend your sailor loot in the slot machines or at the tables, but it comes as promotional credit. My game is craps, where my band was scanned by the pit boss, and I was issued $110 in promotional chips by the dealer, which are specifically color-coded. The minimum bet was $10. Now, any winnings off of the promotional chips are given in normal chips, and you can cash those out at the cage for money in your pocket. I normally play the pass line and take odds on the point, but the table was real cold at the time, so $110 did not last long. Now, there are plenty of other opportunities to spend your sailor loot on board that we did not partake in. Foremost, unpaid to participate happenings which occur on the ship. Most of these events feature alcohol or specialty food making. You may think that the alcohol events would be your purchase off your bar tab, but all of these paid to participate events come out of your onboard credit sailor loot, and they do sell out, like this sushi making demonstration. Another happening is you can take in a 2.5-hour ship tour of behind-the-scenes spaces, such as the crew areas. That will set you back $200, and it also sold out. All of your onboard specialty restaurants are included in your cruise fare, but there are some menu offerings that are an upcharge, or what they refer to as treat yourself. The Wake offered both upscale seafood platters and a tomahawk steak for additional cost. On Deck 6, you have the Dry Dock Beauty Salon, where you can use your loot for a 45-minute blowout for $200, and next door at the Stubble and Groom Barbershop, a shave that comes with a glass of whiskey for $150. I'm sure it's some pretty good whiskey. Basic Wi-Fi is included in your fare and is good for social media, emails, web browsing, and messaging. If you plan on streaming, then premium Wi-Fi is available for $15 a day. Not as exciting, but sometimes necessary, there is laundry service available, and the prices are on the ticket hanging in your cabin closet. Room service is available for meals at a delivery charge of $7. However, if you order a drink like a specialty coffee or a glass of wine that is chargeable, then the delivery fee is waived. Lastly, you can always use Sailor's Loot on board credit to pay for drinks if you have no bar tab to begin with, which is a good segue into how we used our $600 bar tab. On board, all your basic drinks are free, including sodas, drip coffee, and tea, and there was a lot of choices for tea. Specialty coffees are a charge, and that will be subtracted from your bar tab. Starting in the morning and working our way through the day, at Wake Up, I would visit the Grounds Club on Deck 7 or the Grounds Club 2 on Deck 15 for a latte or cappuccino. Virgin Voyages also has a partnership with JoJo Tea, which Jennifer enjoyed. Jennifer and I would then visit Juice C on Deck 7, which served up cold-pressed juices and healthy shots. Everything we tried was very good. After a morning workout, we would go to the Gym and Tonic Bar, which served fresh fruit smoothies. At the Sip Bar on C days, an afternoon tea is served from 1 to 4 p.m., and the charge can be deducted from your bar tab. Cost is $19 each, and if you want it with a glass of champagne, $35. I will say the savory finger sandwiches, scones with cottage cream, and other treats were very good, along with the JoJo tea, of course. Along with the Sip, there is about another dozen bars on board where you can spend your tab. Expect to pay $6 to $7 for a beer and $10 for a basic cocktail. Jennifer and I would order a cocktail with our dinner in the restaurants. Remember that the tip is already included with every drink purchase. Also, don't pass up the free drinks to make sure your bar tab goes a little bit further. First is the sail away party where free champagne is served. Get there when the party begins and you can likely have a couple of flutes in before the freebie ends. In the Goombay restaurant, you will start off your meal with a free shot of soju as part of a Korean drinking game. When we ate in the Pink Agave, there were free shots of mezcal given for a toast. Not sure what the toast was about, but the mezcal was good. Whereas other cruise lines may give you a plastic medal or a ship on the stick for winning competitive games like trivia and puzzles, Virgin Voyages will award you with a cocktail at the closest bar. A couple of days into our voyage, this sign caught our eye. There was a wellness social every afternoon for 1 hour featuring low and no alcohol drinks at the Athletic Club on Deck 16, celebrating the well-being season, January to March. No need to register for this, just show up and the first drink is free. So at the end of the voyage, how did we fare on spending our sailor loot and bar tab? Of the $1,200 in sailor loot, we spent all but $2.20. On the bar tab, not a good result, as we had $237 of use or lose credit remaining. Nevertheless, we had a great time, and we'll be back on Virgin Voyages this summer for another 7-day cruise, and we'll try to improve on expending that bar tab. Of note, that same future cruise offer that was provided to us back on our first cruise in October 2022 is still around. However, you cannot use sailor loot to purchase the future voyage deal. Virgin Voyages is still a fairly new cruise line, bringing on another ship to the fleet and expanding its itineraries. So I would expect some really good deals and value for the money for the foreseeable future as it builds its customer base. You may want to give Virgin Voyages a try, as we really enjoyed it. So that's all for this video. Hopefully you too get a chance to go on Virgin Voyages. And our Lesser Antilles itinerary video should be out in about another week, and that'll give you some ideas if you do go on that itinerary, some things like shore excursions and other things to do on that trip. So we'll see you then.